Good evening, I'm the Casual Collector, and today I'm going to be looking at two members of RT New York, a Command and Control Central team. On the left I've got Ed Wolcoff, who was on the team from 69 to 71. And on the right I've got Bobby Pruett, who was on RT New York from 71 to 72, closed out the team. I wanted to cover both these figures, not only because they show the unique gear that both individuals used, but also because it can kind of show the transition between the mid-war to the late war period. Also, if you don't have a copy of this, this was an excellent reference. It's Jason Hardy's SOG book, Volume 2, covers RT New York, and it was extremely handy for making these two figures, along with the interview that Ed Wolcoff did on Modern Forces website. First, I'm going to look at Ed Wolcoff. So the figure is armed with an RPD. He's got 500 rounds of ammunition, 200 rounds in drums on the web gear, an additional 200 drums each of linked ammunition in the canteen pouches. Wolcoff used a very light gear arrangement after running over a rucksack for the first few missions, and he emulated his team leader John St. Martin in having this very kind of lightweight loadout, which was centered around a butt pack on the back, or this unique harness, which I have not been able to find pictures of, unfortunately, coupled with gear in the claymore pouches on the front and back. In this case, I've only chosen to go with one in the front. The back is very, very light. This was an extremely lightweight loadout, which promised a lot of mobility, and also compensated for the sheer amount of ammunition carrying for the RPD. He kept a survival radio in a 30-round M1967 pouch up by the ear, and also a butcher knife, which was used for clearing brush, on the right hip. He wears the old-style World War II leggings, which, if I remember right, were introduced by Mr. Harris, author of Break Contact, Continue Mission. In addition to this, he wears a black uniform, which was supposedly a hallmark of the Soviet advisors who were working for with the NVA, and also served as effective jungle camouflage. Other gear, XM28 gas mask pouch, and the usual triangle bandage used as a cravat and a headband. He never actually used a Stabo rig, according to his interview on Modern Forces. Instead, he used a Hansen rig, which is shown here for his entire time in SOG. Like I said, overall, an extremely lightweight loadout, very mobile, but also very hard-hitting. Mr. Wolcoff actually is also having a book coming out here soon, talking about Special Forces tactics and procedures, which I am very much looking forward to. So. Yep, it's gonna set him down here. Next we got Bobby Pruett. So this talks about some of the late war gear, which started appearing as the war wound down. You see he's got a lot of 30-round magazines, also in the two-quart canteen pouch here and in the other canteen covers. He's carrying a lot of ammunition. Nick Brockhausen said that towards the end of the war, they were carrying up to 1,000 rounds going into combat, because they were effectively expecting to draw contact as soon as they landed, and that they were effectively serving as bait to find and fix NVA forces to be bombed by close air support and B-52s. Pruett carries a PRC-25, which is tucked into the shirt, as was fairly standard. He is wearing an unusual uniform. So the gear I chose to base him off of was not the standard gear that he was typically wearing with the OG-107 uniform, though that did provide inspiration for the arm pockets. That was based on his photos wearing OG-107s. I actually chose to do an amalgamation of some camp photos that he had, which is covered in the book, which detailed his gear arrangement towards the end of the war. The ERDLs, I don't know if he wore them across the fence, but the gear did show some modifications which I would have expected, such as the additional leg pockets, which were also seen on Frank Pulley's uniform. I don't know what the story is behind the Union belt buckle that is featured in the camp photos. Whoop. Looks like he's got a little weak knees here. But overall, the gear arrangement was very interesting for me. There was a interesting chest rig which I had done up, which was similar to an SKS rig with some spacing in the center for 30 round magazines, which I thought was neat. It's got an early style occluded scope, which was an early version of the red dot, and the Car 15 M16 style foregrip. He has the late model successor to the earlier CCC rucks, and the lightweight rucksack, and the lightweight ruck pack frame. It's the tropical rucksack. So this incorporated some of the advances and advantages of the CCC ruck, melded with a new X-frame and using nylon. So this was the predecessor to what would be seen later on the Alice and LC2 rucks. He's got some pouches, which are the newer ones, the M1967 nylon pouches, one of the very large MG magazine pouches, which has been, I presume, converted for carrying 30 round magazines and other sundries. And he's got another magazine pouch to carry the 30 round mags. It shows a lot of the advances that were being seen in what someone referred to as the last 5 minutes of the war, and you can see a lot of the evolution of modern equipment in these types of arrangements, both with the 30 round magazines, the more extensive use of optics and of nylon, and it shows how far equipment and gear had come in the course of the war, and at the same time how many of these pieces of equipment were still being rigor mated, still made of cotton, and you still had some way to go to reaching more modern equipment, but they were well on their way. But I hope you enjoyed this, and if you got any questions, please feel free. I'll try posting some more figures that I've got here for the end of the war, the Wild Bunch. I suspect Nick Brockhausen will be next. Thank you, and have a great night.